Chapter 16. A Price Paid in Blood.
Ares stopped counting the days. She had no way of knowing how much time had passed in the Dusk Court's dungeons. The only thing that told her time was still moving was the ache in her bones, the dull throb of the wound in her side, and the occasional visits from Nyx. Nyx never said much when she came. Sometimes she brought food. Sometimes she simply stood there, watching Ares like she wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. Ares refused to speak to her, but that didn't stop the war raging inside her. Hate, love, betrayal, longing. They burned through her veins like poison. And then everything changed. The door to Ares's cell slammed open one night. But it wasn't Nyx who stepped inside. It was Commander Vareth. "Your court has come for you," he said, his voice dripping with disdain. "It seems your people are not as blind to your absence as we hoped." Ares's breath caught. The Dawn Court was here. They had come to save her? No, it wouldn't be that simple. Vareth smirked, as if reading her thoughts. "Unfortunately, we cannot simply let you go, little light." He crouched down in front of her, his fingers trailing along the iron shackles on her wrists. "But we can make an example of you." Ares glared at him, forcing herself to sit up straighter despite the pain. "Do it. Then kill me. See how my court responds." Vareth chuckled. "Oh, I have no intention of killing you." He leaned closer, voice a cruel whisper. "But I think your lover might disagree." Ares's blood turned to ice. "What?" Vareth stood, turning toward the guards at the door. "Bring her in." Ares's heart slammed against her ribs as Nyx was dragged into the cell. Her hands bound in iron just like Ares's, but unlike Ares, Nyx had clearly fought back. Her lip was split, her cheek bruised, her dark wings trembling as she was shoved to her knees. Ares surged forward, but the chains yanked her back. "What are you doing?" she snarled at Vareth. Vareth smiled, delivering justice. Ares's breath turned sharp. "Nyx is one of yours. She's a Dusk Court warrior." Vareth sighed. "And yet, she disobeyed my direct orders. She was supposed to lure you into capture. Instead, she tried to help you escape." Ares's eyes snapped to Nyx, tried to help her escape. Nyx didn't meet her gaze. Ares's throat went dry. "Nyx," Vareth spoke over her. "Treason is punishable by death, you see. And since you have caused such trouble, it is only fitting that you watch her pay the price." Ares's stomach twisted. No. Nyx finally looked up at her then. And God, Ares had never seen her look like this. Not afraid. Not angry. Resigned. Like she had already accepted her fate. Ares shook her head. "No." She choked out. "No. I won't let you do this." Vareth smirked. "Oh. And how will you stop me, little light?" Ares's hands trembled against the chains. She had to do something. She had to. Nyx spoke before she could. "It's okay," she whispered. Ares's heart shattered. "Don't you dare say that." Nyx gave her a small, sad smile. "I told you I'd fix this." Ares shook her head wildly, yanking at the chains, her skin burning as the iron dug deeper. "Don't you dare do this, Nyx." But Nyx only closed her eyes, and then, a flash of silver, the sword plunged into Nyx's chest. Before Ares could even scream, blood bloomed across Nyx's dark armor, her body jerking as the steel cut through her. But even as she fell, her eyes never left Ares's. Ares's scream tore through the dungeon. The chains burned against her wrists as she fought against them. As she tried. God, she tried to get to Nyx. But the Iron held fast. She couldn't reach her. She couldn't save her. Nyx collapsed to the stone floor, her breathing shallow, her wings limp, but as she still managed one last whisper so soft Eris almost didn't hear it. Eris. Then her eyes fluttered shut, and Eris knew. She was gone. Pain unlike anything she had ever known ripped through her. Something inside her snapped. Something deep and dangerous. Something that set her veins on fire. The room blurred around her. Her vision turning white-hot with rage. The Dawn Court had come for her. They would burn for what had been done here. Varith would burn. Eris didn't care what she had to do. She would make them all pay. Chapter 17. The Wrath of a Broken Heart. Eris had felt pain before. She had known the sting of battle, the ache of betrayal, the slow burn of loss. But this was something else. It was fire and ice, rage and sorrow. A scream so deep inside her that it cracked the very foundation of who she was. Nyx was gone. Her body lay motionless on the cold stone, her midnight wings stained with blood, and Eris' gods. Eris could still hear her voice, still feel the ghost of her touch. She had been ready to die for Eris, and Eris had been powerless to stop it. And no more. Eris lifted her head, her golden eyes burning as she met Varith's gaze. "You shouldn't have done that," she whispered. Varith scoffed. She was a traitor. She got what she deserved. Eris went still. Something inside her snapped. A sound, low and dangerous, curled from her lips. A laugh, but there was no humor in it, only promise. The air in the cell shifted. The torches flickered. The iron around her wrists, unbreakable, suffocating, began to glow. Varith frowned, stepping back. "What?" Eris tore her hands apart. The iron shattered like brittle glass. Power, wild, untamed, furious, erupted through her veins. She didn't know where it came from, didn't care. All she knew was that she could feel it now, pulsing beneath her skin, cooling like a storm waiting to be unleashed. Varith's eyes widened. Impossible. Eris rose to her feet. "Run," she whispered. Then the world exploded. The torches lining the walls burst into fire, the stone beneath them trembling as golden light poured from Eris's body. She felt weightless, endless, like she was no longer bound by the limits of flesh and bone. The Dawn Court had always been known for their light magic. But this was something ancient, something far deadlier. The guards lunged for her. They never reached her. With a flick of her wrist, fire consumed them. Screams filled the air. But Eris didn't flinch. She barely even heard them. Her focus was on one person, Varith. He was backing away now, eyes darting toward the exit. "You don't know what you're doing," he hissed. Eris stepped forward, golden embers floating around her like falling stars. "You took her from me." Varith clenched his jaw. She was weak. Wrong answer. Eris struck. The fire lashed out, wrapping around Varith's throat, lifting him off the ground. He choked, clawing at the invisible force holding him, his dark wings spasming. Eris tightened her grip. She should burn him, destroy him, make him feel everything she felt. But then, a whisper. Not real. Not possible. But she heard it all the same. Eris. Her breath caught. Nyx. The fire flickered. Varith hit the ground, gasping for air, but Eris barely noticed. She turned, her hands shaking, her power still raging inside her, demanding release. Nyx was still there, her body lifeless and cold. Eris fell to her knees beside her, all the rage crumbling into something raw, something unbearable. She had won, but at what cost? She gathered Nyx into her arms, pressing her forehead to hers, her tears slipping onto blood-stained skin. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." A dull roar filled her ears, the sound of battle above. The Dawn Court was still fighting. She should go. She should escape. But she didn't move, because nothing mattered without Nyx. Nothing. And then, a heartbeat. Eris froze. Her mind was playing tricks on her. It had to be. But then another heartbeat. Faint and steady. Eris pulled back sharply, eyes wide. Nyx? Nothing. Then lips parted. A breath. Shallow, weak, but real. Eris's heart slammed against her ribs. Nyx was alive. Barely. Eris didn't hesitate. She gathered what remained of her strength, wrapped Nyx in her arms, and launched herself into the sky. She didn't know where she was going. She only knew one thing. She wouldn't lose her. Not now. Not ever. Chapter 18. The Price of Life. Eris flew faster than she ever had before. The battle raged beneath her dawn, and dusk court warriors clashing in the ruins of the stronghold, but none of it mattered. Not the burning towers, not the war cries. Only Nyx. Her body was limp in Eris's arms, her breaths shallow, her skin unnaturally cold. The wound in her chest was still bleeding, staining Eris's hands, but she didn't care. She had to save her. She wouldn't let this be the end. But she needed help, and she knew exactly where to go. The witches of the Forgotten Wood did not welcome visitors. Their territory lay deep in the ancient forests between the courts, untouched by either kingdom. No one dared cross into their lands unless they were desperate, and Eris was beyond desperate. She landed in the heart of the wood, her wings trembling from exhaustion. Shadows curled between the twisted trees, whispering secrets she couldn't understand. The air smelled of damp earth and old magic. A rustle of movement, then golden eyes flickered in the darkness. A figure stepped forward, draped in a cloak woven from starlight. The air around them hummed with power. "The Witch of the Forgotten Wood, you bring death to my doorstep," the witch said, her voice like wind through the trees. Eris tightened her grip on Nyx. "Not yet." The witch's eyes drifted to Nyx's wound, to the blood pooling in the dirt. "She is nearly gone." "I don't care," Eris snapped. "Fix her." The witch tilted her head, amused. "And what will you offer me in return?" Eris's chest ached. "Anything." The witch smiled, slow and knowing. "A dangerous promise." Eris didn't care. The witch stepped closer, raising a hand over Nyx's body. A faint glow shimmered around her fingertips, spreading over the wound, over her skin. The air grew heavy, thick with unseen forces. Then the witch frowned. Eris's heart clenched. "What?" The witch studied Nyx, her expression unreadable. "She is not meant to be here." Eris gritted her teeth. "She's meant to be with me." A pause. Then the witch smiled, sharp and cruel. "Very well," she murmured. "But life always demands a price." Eris didn't hesitate. "Take it." The witch's golden eyes gleamed. "You do not even know what I will ask." "I don't care." The witch hummed in approval. "Brave little thing." She reached out, placing a single finger against Eris's forehead. Cold shot through her. She gasped, the world spinning, her mind unraveling. Memories, not hers. Nyx's flashes of dark wings in the moonlight. The first time Nyx saw her, hidden behind the trees, watching from afar. The quiet longing, the stolen glances, the war inside her between duty and love. And then, Nyx standing before Varys, begging for Eris's life, betraying her own court for her, choosing her, even knowing it would mean her own death. The magic released its grip, and Eris staggered back, breathless. She had never known. Nyx had tried to save her from the beginning. The witch watched her with something, almost like pity. Now you understand. Eris's throat tightened. Just save her. The witch nodded. A gust of wind swirled around them. The ancient trees groaning as the air itself seemed to shift. The glow around Nyx, bright and warmer this time, golden, like the first light of dawn. And then, Nyx gasped. Her eyes flew open, wide and wild, as if she had just been pulled from the depths of the sea. Eris caught her before she could fall. Her hands trembling, Nyx blinked up at her, dazed. Eris. Eris let out a shaky breath, pressing her forehead against hers. You're okay, she whispered. You're okay. Nyx's fingers curled weakly around Eris's wrist. You saved me. Eris swallowed hard. Of course I did. The witch let out a soft chuckle. How tragic, she mused. She does not know what you have lost. Eris stiffened. Slowly, she turned to the witch. What do you mean? The witch smiled. You gave her life, she said. So, something else had to be taken. The air went still. Eris's blood ran cold. What did you take? The witch's golden eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Your wings, little light. Eris's breath caught. Her hands flew to her back. Nothing ... and no weight. No warmth. Only emptiness. Nyx's eyes widened in horror. No. She rasped, struggling to sit up. No, no. No. Eris stared at the witch, her entire body trembling. You took my wings, she whispered. The witch's smile was cruel. And yet, your heart still aches for more. Eris barely heard her. Her wings were gone. She would never fly again. Nyx's hands clutched at her, her touch desperate. I didn't ask for this. Eris exhaled sharply, forcing herself to push away the grief, the loss, the agony, curling inside her. It didn't matter. Nyx was alive. That was all that mattered. She cupped Nyx's face, her voice unsteady but firm. We're alive, she murmured. That's enough. Nyx's eyes filled with tears. But your wings? Eris shook her head. We'll figure it out. Nyx let out a shaky breath, pressing their foreheads together. I'm so sorry. Eris swallowed hard. Just stay with me. Nyx's fingers curled into hers, tight and unyielding always. But in the shadows, the witch only smiled because she knew what neither of them did. The price was never just wings, and the cost was not yet paid in full. Chapter 19. The cost of a miracle. Eris didn't sleep. Not that night. Not the next. They had fled the Forgotten Wood as soon as Nyx was strong enough to stand. Every step away from the witch's domain sent chills down Eris's spine, as if the trees themselves were whispering reminders of what she had lost. Her wings were gone. She didn't feel lighter. She felt hollow. But Nyx was alive. That was the only thing keeping her from breaking. They had taken shelter in a ruined temple at the forest's edge, far from the war, far from the court's moonlight streamed through broken columns, bathing the space in silver. Nyx lay on a makeshift bed of moss and cloaks, her breathing steady but weak. Eris sat beside her, fingers tracing the lines of her face, committing them to memory. Nyx stirred, blinking up at her. Eris. Her voice was rough, her eyes full of exhaustion and something softer, something that made Eris's throat tighten. I'm here, Eris whispered. Nyx's gaze flickered lower to the place where Eris's wings should have been. Pain flashed across her face. I don't. Eris forced a small smile. You're alive. That's all that matters. Nyx's lips parted. But whatever she was about to say was lost as she winced, pressing a hand to her chest. Eris caught her wrist. You shouldn't move so much. Nyx huffed a weak laugh. I feel like I got stabbed. Eris arched a brow. That's because you did. Nyx groaned, dropping her head back. Right. That. Eris smirked despite herself. Nyx turned her head, watching her carefully. You haven't slept. Eris shrugged. Didn't feel like it. Nyx frowned but didn't push. Instead, she reached out, threading their fingers together. Eris exhaled, squeezing her hand. They sat in silence, the night pressing in around them. Then, Nyx's hand tightened. Eris looked up. Nyx's expression had changed, her lips slightly parted, her brows drawn together. Do you feel that? Eris frowned. Feel what? Nyx's grip turned crushing. Eris. And then Eris felt it. A pull. Deep inside her chest. Something shifted. Something snapped. Her breath hitched, her vision swimming. The air around them seemed to hum. The night itself watched. Eris gasped as pain lanced through her, white hot and sudden. Her knees buckled, her free hand bracing against the stone floor. Nyx was saying something, her voice purgent, worried, but Eris couldn't focus. Her skin burned. Then, a whisper. Soft. Faint. Not from Nyx, not from herself. From something else. Eris. Eris's vision blurred. Shadows danced at the edges of her sight, curling like smoke. The witch. The price. She had thought it was her wings, but she had been wrong. The cost had only begun, and something was coming to collect.